Hello guys, welcome to the part 2 of the cutting of this dress. Okay, so if you haven't watched the part 1, check in the link below. You are going to be seeing the part 1 of how I cut the top. Okay, so this is how the down part looks. Okay, so it's a cut together mermaid skirt with back train. Okay, so this is how it looks. Alright, so if you're interested, stay tuned and let's start drafting. So I have 4 yards of fabric which I have folded into 2 right now, and I am going to go ahead and grab the folded edge, okay, and then fold that one over, not completely over, but just look at how I am folding. I'm going to give you a better view on the ground because on the table it's not really capturing whatever I wanted to capture, so I'm going to be moving my folding to the ground. So this is how it is. Okay, so it's 4 yards and it's folded into 2, and the folded end has been folded halfway, okay, to almost more than the middle part of this. So start with your start line. So guys, after marking your starting line like so, take note that this is not a normal skirt that we'll be adding to a dress. We are adding this to a basque corset, so I'm going to be marking my basque depth. Okay, that is the depth of the corset, okay, in front for the length. So the next is my low waist line, like I've marked like so, and then my hip line. Okay, so the next thing is the knee line. Okay, that is the shoulder to the knee line. All right, so this is the basque length, this is the low waist length, and this is my hip length, and also this is the knee length. Okay, so for the knee I did 2 inches above the knee. Okay, so the next is to mark the length, the original length of her dress. Okay, so I'm going to be adding some overflow of 1, 2, let me count again. I am confused, but I'm adding, I think I added 10 or 11 inches to that. Okay, so the next thing is I'm going to be transferring my measurements. Okay, this is the basque depth line, this is my low waist line, this is the hip line, okay, and the knee line. Okay, so I'm going to go straight to the length and then the amount that I added. I think it's 9 inch, yes, plus 1 inch for sewing allowance. So this is for all the vertical measurement that I'll be needing for the front, and then when we get to the back, I'm marking the same length, that is the basque depth, the waist, sorry, the basque depth, the hip, the low waist, and the knee line as well. Okay, and also I'm going to be marking the length plus the additional length I added for the front, and then I'm going to be adding the excess for the back train as well, the back trail. So if you like it longer, you can use the whole of the fabric, but I think what I did was enough. Okay, so go ahead and rule a straight line across all these points like that. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is, this is the front, just note that this is the front and the back, and this is the back zip area. Okay, so this is the back zip area. So I'm going to be cutting both the front and the back together, just so you know. This is the center front, okay, and this is the center back, okay, where the zip line will be. Okay, so take note of how I have folded my fabric. The next thing is to mark my waist measurement divided by 4. Okay, then the next thing is to the low waist divided by 4. Because this is a lycra and it stretches, okay, I have reduced my measurements by 1.5 inches. Yes, it works. Okay, so mark your hip line, and then whatever you have on your hip, subtract 2 inches from that and mark it on your knee line. All right, so the length for my front, okay, I'm going to be using the whole width of the fabric. Okay, so this is my back length, and this one is my front. Okay, so I am going to be connecting this to the length of my front, but I'm going to be using the whole width of my fabric. Okay, so the next thing is to mark the whole measure, okay, according to what you want, depending on the fullness of your fabric. Mark that and then measure what you have from your knee to your length, okay, and then transfer it to the other side just like I've done. Okay, so as you can see, I measured what I have from my knee to the length, and then I'm transferring it to the side like that. Okay, so I'm using my curved ruler, my skirt curve, to do that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this in a curvy way, not a straight way, a little bit of curve in there to give me, you know, the shape that I want. Yes, and then I'm going to be connecting this to my length like I have done. So I'm going to be blending in a little bit more, since I don't really like the curve I got. From time to time, I'm going to be blending until I'm satisfied with what I got. So the next thing is connect all your measurements you've marked together. Okay, just connect it together. Make sure there is no pointy edge anywhere. Okay, so I have connected this to my low waist, and then from there I'm connecting it to my waistline like that. Okay, so guys, now back to my back panel. I'm going to come up by 3 inches. Okay, so coming up by 3 to 4 inches. I don't really remember, but it works. You can even come up by 1 inch. Okay, so on the zipper line, I'm just adding 1 inch to that. Okay, so 1 inches to that, to the point where I came up from. I call that my break point, because from there I'm going to be extending my trail to the back length. Okay, so from there I marked 1 inch to my break point, okay, for my zipper allowance. So the next thing I'm going to do is, from there, that is where I'm going to be connecting. Take note of that. So the next thing is to reduce my center back waist. Okay, that is my zipper allowance for my back, by 1/2 inch and add it to the other side. I do this because our backs are not straight. Okay, and it helps the dress sit really nicely around the back area. So like reducing this, if you don't add it, that means you get short of fabric, but the moment you reduce it, you need to add it back to the side. Okay, it helps sit nice and flat at the back. All right, so if you've not liked this video yet, please, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and like the video, subscribe to my channel, share on your Facebook pages, your WhatsApp pages. Yes, so I have shaped to the shape that I feel contented with. So now this is my back length. Okay, now I am going to be connecting this to my break point. Okay, oh guys, it's not easy putting your knee on the ground. It's not easy at all, trust me. It's a lot of pain. So I am just connecting my length like so to the break point. Okay, so I hope you understand. Yes, so from the back length, you connect it to your break point like that, and then you blend the front part. Okay, you blend it to the back like so. Okay, so this is the front. I am making the back length right now, and I'm going to be blending it to the back length. I hope you guys understand what I mean. So like connect it to the back like so. Okay, so that is what I'm doing. And then for the corner, I have, you know, reduced just a little bit to prevent the sharp corner. So I've brought out my front pattern to make some few explanations. Zooming in. Okay, this is my original waistline, which is 17 inches, but the length of my corset is 18 18.18 inch. Okay, so using this 8 inch, I am going to be transferring this. Okay, so I'm going to be marking my 18.18, okay, here like so. All right, so that is the original length for my top. Okay, I only added the normal waistline for a better understanding. Okay, so I'm going to be putting my length like as if I am joining this. Okay, make sure there is a sewing allowance. I am going to be adding a sewing allowance. So after trying to join this, I'm going to be shaping my basque for the front like that. All right, so I'm just going to connect this. Okay, so for the basque depth, okay, I did it 20 inches. Okay, so assuming you are going to be joining, so this is 20.5. So marking the original 20 inches, this is it. Okay, but definitely you are going to be joining this. Okay, so that gives me the 20.5, and then I'm adding my half inches to the side for me to be able to join. Okay, so the next thing is I'm just going to connect this point together. So all I'm doing here is for my front. Note that because of the basque depth. Okay, so the next thing is to connect this to my waist like so for the back part. Okay, so I've connected the waistline for the back, and this is for the front. Okay guys, if you have any questions, please leave it in the comments below. I'll be glad to answer them. The next is to cut this out. So I'm cutting from the original top length or my corset length, as you can see, and I'm adding some sewing allowance to that. All right, so from the look of things, I've already cut my back. So next, bring out your front basque. Okay, and also the side. Okay, the half inch we added to the side, that must only reflect at the back, and then cut out your front length like that. So that brings us to the cutting of this. The sewing of this is going to be in the descriptive box. Please do check that out. Thank you so much for watching.